Welcome to my channel. I'm Simple Yachi. Just like the title has suggested, we want to talk a little bit about marriage. Um, I would like to ask how many of you are married and how many of you did their research before they got married? Or you met someone, you fell in love, he introduced you to their brothers, their sisters, and boom, you got married. Or you went to your pastor, they prayed for you, you got counseling, and then you got married. Because basically, that's what I did. Met someone, fell in love, and got married. Now, I'm asking this because with the little experience that I've gotten, I've seen a lot of things happening. And like right now, people are feeling that this is the new era. We are living in Nairobi, we are living in whichever place you're living in, whichever town you're living in. I don't need to really get to go to their village and get to know whatever is happening down there. I don't really need to research. Who am I marrying? I'm just marrying this guy. But there's some things that we tend to forget because at the end of the day, we are Africans. There are cultures, there are things that we really need to like look at because take for instance, um, I really don't want to name names, but you find that A is married to B, and A is from a certain place, a different place. They have their own cultures, they have their own traditions. Then B also has their own culture and their own traditions. These people meet. They're in Nairobi, they're in whichever town they're in. They fall in love and then they decide to get married. They live in town. Then push comes to shove. Maybe something happens that now prompts this other person, A, to go to the village and find out what's going on. Now you go there and you're bamboozled by a lot of different things, a lot of cultures, a lot of traditions that you're supposed to do. Now what you're forgetting is at the end of the day, you have to go back to the village and find out their traditions. So I'm asking you out there, what do you think? Should we research about our partner's background, about where they're coming from before we get married, or should we just go ahead and get married even without knowing where they're coming from? Because a lot of us are doing that. And then we tend to say it's not really necessary for us to go to the village, and it's not really necessary for us to go and find out where they're coming from. But you get to know that you get to find out later in life that you said you don't need to go to the village, but later in life, life happens. You are thrown and you're pushed and you have to go to the village. You get there and you find things are so different from where you come from. Like for instance, a certain maybe tribe in our in our country, um we hear, we read about it that they bury their people in a certain way, then they mourn for this long, they do this, they do that. But you find that where you come from, a person dies, a person is buried. But here, people sit, people mourn, people have night vigil for this long, and then this person is buried. So you see, when you go to this particular place and you're bamboozled by what is going on, you really don't know what to do. You really don't know what to expect. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't know what you think. Do you really need, and I'll keep on asking this question along the way throughout the video. Do you really need to go and research where you're coming, where you're marrying into? Because I remember when I was in school, when we used to learn the religious part, uh, when we used to learn and you're being asked qualities to look in when you want to in a partner, when you want to get married, what should you do? And some of the things that we used to learn, and this is, remember, way back when we were in primary school, and I think they're still teaching that. Uh, what we used to learn is that number one, you have to look at the background, you have to look at where this person is coming from, their health, their status, right? The educational background and stuff like that. But you see, right now, the millennials, we're saying really, it's not really necessary. I met this person and I'm only marrying this person, and this is who I am going to live with. So, what do you think? What do you think should happen? Now, I remember my mom used to tell me that before she met my dad and she got married, she was in college and she met this guy, and this guy really wanted to marry her. But my grandmother, her mother, asked her, "Have you gone to this guy's home? Do you know how they live? Do you know where he comes from? Do you know how they, basically, do you know anything about him?" So I don't want to say this which community it is, but my mom had to go there. Because she had already told grandma uh, where this person was coming from. So my grandma was like, "You need to go there. You need to go and find out." So one day she decided to go visit because she was dating, right? She decided to go visit and see where this guy, how they live, where he comes from, how everything is. So when she got there, it was actually in the evening. She was welcomed. The guy's mom made something, they ate. So she was so shocked that when it reached nighttime, these people take everything they own, the cows, the chicken, everything, and these things sleep in the house where the rest of the family is sleeping. Because basically she had to sleep in the parents' house, right? But these people pick everything, and everything, uh like I've said, the cows, the hen, the goats, the sheep sleep in the house. So the next day she went back home and she was like, nah, and a couple of things she had seen. Now she also used to give me a story because my dad used to work in the government sector, and we used to move a lot in different towns. So there's a town that we used to live in that my mom also got some experience there, that she saw some things. So you find that somebody, mnaelewa tunasema night runners, right, which wizards or whatever. So before you get married, when a lady is married in that particular place or a home that has that, basically it's sort of you inherit whatever they're doing. So if they're night runners, basically you are going to be one. So these are the things that when I remember these stories my mom used to tell me, these are the things I sit down and think. Sometimes we just rush in, we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. Then you get in and you're shocked. You're like, "I didn't know this. I didn't know you guys do this. I didn't know you dress like this. I didn't know," and stuff like that. Now another thing is you get married to this guy and you met, right? You fell in love and you decided, let's live together. Then after a while, you find that this guy tells you, "We're going to visit my parents, and my parents don't like people who dress like this. So you need to change how you dress when you go and visit my parents." So you find that there's a way you dress, but now when it reaches time that you really need to go and visit your in-laws, you change your way of dressing because basically they don't like it. So I'm asking you out there, what do you think? Should you research the background? Should you research where your partner is coming from before you get married, or should you just go ahead and get married and learn their cultures and traditions along the way? What do you think? So hit me down below and tell me what you think about this. Should we just go with all, just get in there, learn it along the way, or just do your research before you get into it? Bye. Until next time.